we don't have powers to make laws for states and local governments. So we may, Mr. President, go into this and look at it more dispassionately.
What section tells you that we don't have powers to make laws for states and local governments? Because what I know legally, by the Constitution, is that any law that is enacted by a state or a bylaw by the local government, which is inconsistent with an act of parliament at the national level, is null and void to the extent of that inconsistency.
Make laws for states. That's why you have state houses of assembly.
No, we do. We do.
Legislation for Nigeria, which includes the subnationals. So I'm not sure whether, I don't know the problem that Senator Tambuwal has on this part, in regard to this particular aspect. Also, you recall that we sat here and do ICPC and do EFCC, and the state was not comfortable, and they took this matter to court. And the Supreme Court said, no, the National Assembly has powers to do those, regardless of the subnationals. So I think we are comfortable here, unless there are other legal minds that will say constitutionally we cannot, but the court, the Supreme Court said we can, and I think we should.
The ranking legal mind, from my head alone, I know that we can make laws that will bind the states and local governments. If there are areas we cannot, the Constitution will separate those areas. But on areas of, there are exceptions. On areas of concurrent jurisdiction.
Second schedule of the Constitution, which is the exclusive legislative list. Subsection 59 is clear. It says, taxation of incomes, profits, and capital gains, except as otherwise prescribed by this Constitution.
Please start again.
I said that with respect to what Senator Tambuwal has said, the powers of the National Assembly are stated in the second schedule, part 1, exclusive legislative list. And subsection 59 says we have powers to make laws for taxation of incomes, profits, capital gains, except otherwise prescribed by this Constitution. We need to understand that what we are doing here is a bill for taxation. If we go to the latter part of the bill, in fact, we debated it, as Senator Nigi said, where we were trying to create state revenue services. We said we couldn't do so, but we expunged those sections and kept the one that deals with taxation, administration of taxation, which is what this bill deals with. So, with respect to Senator Tambuwal, I think it's wrong to say that we don't have the powers. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, to which shall be paid all revenues collected by the government of the Federation, except the proceeds from the personal income tax of the personnel of the armed forces of the Federation, the Nigerian Police Force, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, or Department of Government charged with the responsibility for foreign affairs, and the residents of the Federal Capital Territory. So, Mr. President, the exception on this is that we cannot make law for the collection of revenue on these categories of taxes. Residents of the FCT, members.
Use your decision.
We cannot make law for the collection of taxes mentioned in this section because they belong to FCT. And even pay as you earn. We cannot make law for the collection of pay as you earn. It's entirely the responsibility of the State Internal Revenue Service. Thank you.
Thank you. That doesn't need argument.
At the committee level, which is to the effect that a provision be clearly made to authorize the payment of tax revenues, payee and any other taxable revenue for oil company workers who are working in various sections of the creeks in oil facilities scattered across various parts of the country. Because currently, the position is that those taxable revenues are calculated every month and paid to the state that houses the headquarters. And we agreed. And that's why I've been running up and down, conferring with my distinguished chairman of this committee. So may we have clearer direction, Mr. President, as to where that provision or clause is. Because I can't find it. And if it is not there, then this is an opportunity for us to insert it after section 36, so that we can put a clause that in the case of computation of oil, the taxes deductible and payable by all sector workers operating outside their headquarters, that those tax revenues be computed and paid to the states where the facilities are domiciled. So I seek that clarification, Mr. President. Thank you.
It's been done, and then your headquarters is in Sokoto, or even a construction worker, you are doing work in Borno, you are resident in Borno, and then you go and pay tax to Sokoto. No.
Observation.
It's been dealt with. It's payee.
Observation.
It's now under this.
Mr. Senate President, can I reply that? Can I reply that, sir? Mr. Senate, I want to reply that. I want to reply to
Discover. We have to reflect on. We can't make two sets of laws on pay as you earn. There are people working in FCT, but they live in Nasarawa State. There are people who work in Lagos, Mr. President, and they live in Ogun State. The logic of pay as you earn, my brother, is that you pay based on your residence, not where your office is. Because it is in your residence that your family, your children will attend public schools and any of those services provided by state government. The purpose of tax is to address the social needs of human beings. And so, if you tamper with this, I'm saying the basis for taxation is based on your residence. And there are good reasons for it. You spend 8 hours at work, you spend 16 hours outside work. Oftentimes, your children attend schools where you are resident. That is where you drink your water. That is where you benefit from all kinds of social facilities that state governments or federal governments are supposed to provide. So, my dear brother, I understand your concern, I understand your pain, that somebody flies to somewhere, make money, work there, and then you fly to another place. Unfortunately, we can't make two laws, one for oil workers and one for other non-oil workers.
Thank you.
Your place of residence is the basis for taxation, and it is the state in which you reside that collects the money. Because sorry, I think something is wrong with this microphone system. One is talking, the thing will just go up by itself.
The microphone just goes off. Anyhow. Which sensor?
Revenue Service. They are to find out where the residence is, and they go there and collect the tax. It is not this bill. It's okay the way it is.
Let me explain.
And it's residency requirements that is no. The argument does not offend this very bill as it is.
We are on clause by clause consideration.
Yes, I'm making contribution to what
Senator.
Mr. Chairman, sorry. We all know this process. You will be calling clause by clause, we're going clause by clause. If anybody has an amendment, such person will raise up his hand. And the chairman will now allow him to move that amendment.
87 is talking about establishment of the State Internal Revenue Service.
It's an observation. Sorry. I observed that all the people that are going to consult with the chairman of finance were all members.
89 up to clause 93, whether we can establish state internal revenue services for states with their functions, with their management, structures for state revenue services. Can we, under the Constitution, Mr. Chairman, I have my concern?
We cannot. Yes, assemblies. And we can only do so when they have crisis, but right now they don't have crisis. By Section 11 of the Constitution, it gives us the power to take over the functions of the houses or assemblies where they are unable to do so. But right now, we don't have that situation. So we cannot make a law here foreclosing the ability of the houses.
Let's look at the content, sir.
As recommended in Section 87, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So the entirety of those provisions that allow the National Assembly to make to create state revenue service, those provisions are hereby expunged. 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 And so please, Senator Tambuwal, move a motion and mention the areas that should be expunged.
Mr. Chairman, that it would be superfluous for us to pass these provisions as contained in clauses 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, and 99, I hereby move that all of these be expunged from the bill.
Any seconder? We are, in terms of correction, it should be 98, because I think Section 99 is about creation of executive chairman.
Yes. Okay, yes, yes, yes.
Which we have to discuss.
Yes, yes, yes.
So the motion has been moved and seconded that we expunge from clauses 87 all the way to clause 98. Those in support that those areas be expunged, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So 87 to 98 hereby expunged. Now let's look at clause 99.
Wherever we see executive chairman from section 99 and onward should be changed to executive vice chairman.
Thank you. Distinguished colleagues, the section 99 has been amended to, instead of executive chairman, it says executive vice chairman mutatis mutandis. Those in support that we proceed with we approve section 99 as amended, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Section 100.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, we have defined what VAT is. We said VAT is a consumption tax. And we all agreed that VAT will be shared based on consumption. So I want to move a motion here because it's something that the even Forum of Governors agreed on this. I want to move a motion for the purposes of distributing VAT revenue among the states. Place of consumption means the location of the consumer at the point of consumption and not supply. Yeah, that is what is in the interpretation.
The motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So we change it from point of supply to point of consumption. Entire Senate for painstakingly going through this clause by clause to ensure that what we pass is left for posterity to enjoy and to avoid conflict in the lawmaking. I want to also state clearly that if there is any provision that we have missed out, it will be corrected by the judiciary if anybody challenges it. We can do both the work of the judiciary and the work of the legislature. To call attention to my parting words, it is the work of Parliament to enact laws. It is the work of the judiciary to interpret the laws. So let us not sit down here after we have finished enacting a clause or enacting the law. We now try to interpret it. Then we are taking over the job of the judiciary. So I want to thank you for the approval, and I want the Senate leader to now move that we revert to plenary to report progress.